I created G-plans out of nutrition frustration. One day during nutrition studies at Duke University, we came across a revelation. We discovered that everyone has a completely unique metabolic structure and type. Eating a generic diet program will not get you the results you want, and you will continue on a path of yo-yo dieting forever. Ultimately, sustainable food programs are built within your own specific metabolic template.
I eat what Dr. G tells me to eat for my metabolic type. I don't call this program a diet because I eat more than on other programs.
Hello and welcome to today's nutrition masterclass. So glad to see quite a few people joining me, saying hello today. Glad to see you here. Hello to Scott. Good to see you again. Valentine, Laurie, Akuro, Aaron. Good to see you. And hey, hope you had a great first week on your plan. Jessica, Janet, and Mary. So hello to everybody here. So glad you're joining me today. And we're going to get started here in just a few minutes with today's presentation. What we'll be talking about today is specifically why eating more can be the solution to more weight loss. So I know a lot of the times that can sound kind of backward. That doesn't sound right. You know, it seems like you need to eat less continuously to continue losing weight. And that's definitely not the case. So we're going to talk a little more about the why behind that today. And just as a reminder, if you do have any questions, comments throughout today's presentation, please feel free to add that in the chat box today. And then I'd love to talk with you a little bit at the end of the presentation today. So we're going to dive right in. All right. Okay. All right. So today's presentation is on why eating more can be the solution to more weight loss. Okay. So this is our table of contents for today. Number one, we're going to talk about the question. A lot of times when you get started with a plan, you might ask, should I be eating so much? So we'll address that. Next up, we're going to talk about how weight loss progress, it could possibly be slower at first, and a little bit of the why behind that. I'm going to ask you specifically, what are your goals? What are your goals you're shooting for at this time? And lastly, we're going to wrap it up there with a bit on trusting the process and really more discussion on focusing on building these healthy habits into your routine and how important that is. And then we'll close everything out today with the tip of the week. All right. Okay, so as a reminder, I always share my email and our master classes. So if you have anything personal you'd like to reach out to me about, you maybe don't want to put it in the chat box, please feel free to send me an email. That is my personal email there on the screen, and we'll also have that added for you in the chat box today as well. All right, so this is a question we see sometimes at G-plans, and it's especially in the first few weeks of starting the plan. We'll see some people ask, should I really be eating this much? So, if you have followed maybe a few more restrictive diet plans in the past, you might find it really tough in a couple aspects to start eating more when you first get started. So, why is that? Over time, restrictive diets, they not only lead to a slower metabolism, they can also affect our relationship with food as well. You may, of course, see some weight loss when you first get started with a more fad diet, but you'll find that this will slow down and it can lead to weight gain in the long run due to metabolic adaptation. So essentially what that means is when you're eating a very restrictive calorie intake, over time our body kind of adapts to that lower intake, and it adapts by reducing our metabolic rate. So The way to fix it, of course, is to not continuously reduce calories. That essentially will just slow your metabolism down a bit more, and again, can definitely cause more weight gain in the long term. Eating enough calories and making sure you're eating the proper balance of macronutrients helps to support your metabolism so that you can see weight loss results that definitely will last. So that's a couple of reasons why when you get started, you might find if you had been kind of under eating for a while with other plans, it might be tough to kind of start eating more. And you might need to also work a bit on your relationship with food, which could be impaired due to some past diets you've been on as well. Okay, so again, weight loss progress, it could be slower at first. Why is that? So again, if you followed a lower calorie plan for a period of time, or maybe you just weren't eating consistently, you were kind of under eating for a while, you might find that when you first get started with your plan, progress is moving a little slower than you'd like. So, following these restrictive plans, again, they eventually lead to a slower metabolism. The only way to correct this is to begin eating more. So that's why, again, you may find in the first few weeks on your plan, why am I eating so much? That is for a reason, and that's to help support your metabolism. When you do first begin to start increasing your caloric intake, you might find that your progress is slower or that your weight might be fluctuating a bit as well. This is totally normal. It can take a little bit of time for your metabolism to really kind of start speeding up again. So just know, again, if you've been on several diets, you've been under eating, those are a few big indicators that it might take a few weeks of, again, consistency, being on your plan until you start seeing really good, more consistent weight loss progress. So sometimes in the short term, we may see some fluctuations, or you may even possibly go up on the scale. And that is just due to, again, that period of time where your metabolism is starting to kind of speed up again. So stick with it. All right, so today again too, what I'm really focusing on is building healthy habits. So sticking with a plan, making sure it's sustainable for you. So with that being said, I'd love if you tell me a little more about what your goals are right now. What healthy habits are you currently working to build in your routine? Again, it is all about building a routine that's going to specifically work for you and your lifestyle. So I'd love if you share with me, what are you working on? What are your goals? What are the habits you're looking to establish at this time? Share with me in the chat box, and I'd love to talk with you a bit at the end today. All right, so when it comes to being on your plan, again, trust the process. Keep it going. Again, these first couple weeks, you might think that maybe things aren't going according to plan. Maybe progress is a little slower. Do not give up. Trusting the process by eating enough and eating consistently throughout the day will help to, again, boost your metabolism. Sometimes it does just take a little bit of time. It's all about, at the end of the day, of course, it's all about sustainability. This process is not only important to repair your metabolism, trusting the process, eating more is also key to help heal your relationship with food. Many fad diets, they may cut out entire food groups, or some do actually really rely heavily on more processed and packaged foods. What that does is it doesn't allow you to learn what foods and recipes that you enjoy and how to determine the correct portion sizes for you. Following your meal plan, it's going to allow you to experiment with new recipes and help you to understand that correct balance of macronutrients for a meal. This will help you to really learn how to maintain your weight long term. So of course, when you're focused on weight loss, again, tracking your food intake is going to be super key. It's very vital to your success. But very long term, you might find down the road, after a while of tracking, it does help you to learn, again, a kind of a combination of how to build a healthy meal, what foods that you like best, and the correct portion sizes. So down the road, you might find that you don't even really need to track as much. You know how to maintain your weight at that point, and you learned that by following your meal plan. All right, so again, at the end of the day, it is all about building those healthy habits that stick with you. So in order to build a healthy relationship with food and see weight loss progress that's going to last, the key is to focus on building those healthy habits into your life. Following restrictive diets can lead to any weight loss being regained in the long run, partially because they also don't help you to create sustainable healthy habits. They really focus on, again, you might lose weight quickly in the short term. Long term, again, that can affect your health, your metabolic rate, and it's not helping you to learn how to eat healthy in a sustainable way. Sticking with a plan that ensures you are consuming adequate calories and macronutrients and focusing on setting small goals will help you to see the best results that are going to stick with you over the long run. So focus on building those healthy habits. Focus on setting those SMART goals, something we talk about a lot, which means a goal is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So setting those goals, setting those small goals you can build upon, that's the way to really ensure your routine is something that's sustainable for you, that will last. All right. All right, so that did bring me to the end of today's presentation today. So have my tip of the week, and it's very focused on today's topic as well. Tip of the week is to have some fun. Make sure you are having fun. You are enjoying this journey. So really, in order to build that healthy routine that's gonna stick with you, it is so important to make sure you are enjoying the journey. The key to losing weight and keeping it off long term is to focus on setting those healthy goals and finding what you enjoy most. So a lot of the times we may find, there's a certain workout, certain things that may be effective, but we don't enjoy them. So again, it's so key to find what works for you and what you enjoy, because that again is going to be what is most sustainable for you. Try out various forms of exercise, try new recipes, new foods, maybe new spices, again, different ways maybe of preparing the same meals. So if you usually make, chicken, sweet potatoes, and broccoli in the oven, try switching it up, doing it in an air fryer, preparing it a little different. Make sure that you are not just simply following your plan. This is about, again, a lifestyle change and building those healthy habits that you truly enjoy. So play around a little bit. Don't just rigidly kind of stick to your plan and do things one way. Have some fun, find what you enjoy, and build those healthy habits into your lifestyle that you enjoy. All right. Well, this does bring me, of course, this is the end of today's presentation. So please feel free at this time. If you have any other questions or comments, go ahead and add those to the chat box, and I'd love to talk with you a little bit at this time. All right. Okay, pull up your questions here. All right, awesome. So I see, great job, Claire. I see you're just starting. That's awesome. All right, Natasha says, that's where I am. The scale hasn't been my friend here at the start. Stick with it, Natasha. I promise that can change. Again, it can take a little bit of time, kind of for your metabolism to really reset. So stick with it, keep eating consistently, and trust the process. All right. I got another question that says, can you define a restrictive diet? How many calories would be an example of that? That's a great question. Of course, that would depend as well on you individually. So for each person, that can vary quite a bit. Now, just to give a generic number out, in the past, the number of basically 1,200 calories, something like that, has been a common number for a lot of very low calorie diets. For pretty much everyone, that's always going to be too low of a number. So that's just an idea. Of course, this can change from person to person. What would be too low for you? Another thing I mentioned there is very restrictive plans that kind of cut out a food group. So if you're following something that really doesn't have hardly any carbohydrates in it, things like this is where it's going to, again, be more restrictive. All right. Laurie said her goal right now is being consistent and drinking water throughout the day. That is a fantastic goal. We know, of course, eating consistently is so key to your progress, and drinking your water spread throughout the day is a great goal to ensure that you are meeting your hydration goals for sure. All right. Natasha says as well, I'm working to be sure to eat more often and to get up and move more. Those are some awesome goals as well. I know, again, like I mentioned in our presentation today, it can be tough sometimes at first to begin eating more. So if you need to, feel free to kind of cut back your portions, but it's best to stick to eating consistently. Don't skip meals throughout the day that way. All right. Erin says drinking water and exercise. Awesome goal. All right. Janie says consistent meal plan versus grab and go. Very great. Awesome goals here. Eating more frequently, having smaller portions. All right. And Laura said, I've done intermittent fasting for 3 years and it's not moving the scale like it used to. That's a great goal, Laura. So again, intermittent fasting can definitely be one of those more restrictive plans I was mentioning. So you might find sometimes maybe it works a little bit in the beginning, and after a while, it's not working for you as much as it used to. So focus on starting to eat more consistently. That's the great way to get out of that. All right. Working on that. Scott says, are you weighing at the same time of day once a week or every day? That's a great question to ask, Scott. I would recommend in general, for most people, the best way to weigh is typically going to be once a week. And like you mentioned, it's going to be at the same time of day. Now I say that because, of course, naturally, we will always have some fluctuations in our weight throughout the week, and this can be due to even things just like water retention. So if you're weighing yourself at different times of day or sometimes more frequently, it can kind of start to get you a little discouraged when you're actually seeing good progress. It can kind of throw you off a little bit. So I find for most people, picking 1 day a week at the same time, that's the best way to go ahead and check in your weight that way. All right. Okay, and then Scott says, if you weigh every day at a different time, you got it. You will weigh a little different. You absolutely. So yeah, pick the same time to weigh, preferably, usually going to be once a week. But again, everybody's a little different. So I do find some people, they really like to weigh in every day, and that helps to hold them accountable. So find what works for you, but if you find that it's a little discouraging, that your weight might change a little bit day to day, go ahead and stick to 1 day a week. All right, and Charmaine just asked, is this recorded? Yes, it is. So after I end this presentation today, anytime you go to our YouTube page, you can click on live on the tabs on the top, and it records all of our past nutrition masterclasses. So you can jump on there right after this one ends today. This will be recorded there for you, and you can also scroll down and view any of our past masterclasses as well. All right, well, thank you so much for joining in today. I'm so glad to see so many new people and some of the same people that have been joining in for masterclasses as well. I hope this was a really helpful topic today. I hope it gives you a little, makes you feel a little better knowing that, of course, in those first few weeks, it can be totally normal. Progress might be a little slower, so stick with it. Know that this process of eating more, it's the best way for you to see those sustainable, lasting results as well. So build those healthy habits, and I hope to see you next week. So of course, every week here on the YouTube page, we're live with another nutrition masterclass each Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I hope to see you again next week for another nutrition masterclass, and hope you have a great rest of your day.